Hello! It's been a little while, especially since I've done a video where I actually speak. I have no idea how this will turn out because I'm using my new phone, which technically isn't new. It's a hand-me-down from my mom, but it's definitely newer than my old one. So yeah, I thought I'd take this opportunity to test my camera on the new phone and also say welcome to my new apartment, which obviously is still very empty at this point. So I have a hard time gauging how loudly I should speak because it's probably very echoey in here. And I also don't want to disturb the neighbors. You might be able to hear some kids singing above me at some point. They were singing earlier. Yeah, anyway, let's have some breakfast together. How about it? I don't know if you can see, but I'm eating something that you might find a little bit strange depending on your tastes. So for the past month and a half, roughly, I lived with my parents here in Switzerland, and my stepdad loves to make bread. Well, really, cooking in general. He's really good at cooking and baking and all those things. And because he likes baking so much, sometimes he bakes a bit too much and we can't actually finish it before it goes kind of stale and hard. So he like double baked some of it for me in like little chunks because I like I have no idea what you call it in English, but in German it's Zwieback, which is basically the same idea. It's like double baked sweet bread, kind of. Anyway, so it's kind of an experimental thing. But anyway, so that stuff I usually like to eat. You can buy it in the store, and I like to eat it with carrot juice. Yep. Can you see how orange it is? Yes. I soaked this homemade Zwieback, I guess, in carrot juice. It's healthy and it's good for you, hopefully. Good for your eyes, supposedly. So that's what I'm having. I hope you have something to eat as well. So let's have breakfast together. How about it? You know, the carrot juice really goes better with some things than others. And since I have a bunch of different types of bread mixed together here, I can tell like the whiter, fluffier type works a lot better for this than like dense, darker bread. But no. At least this way it gets eaten and doesn't just land in the trash. So last night was my first night sleeping in my new apartment in Switzerland, which is right near where my parents live. I can actually cycle over to their house in about 20-30-ish minutes. I'm sure it'll get faster as I get more in shape, hopefully. So I already got a new bicycle, and yesterday I got this amazing couch bed. Isn't that great? So it's really a couch. I don't know if you can see it, but usually those cushions go on here, and then you can use it as a couch. And this part, there's a part here that comes out to make a bed, but then you can like, it's kind of like a drawer a little bit. You just slide it under and then it's like an L-shaped couch like this. And this part, so the like bottom of the L, I guess. I don't know. It has a box, like a storage box underneath, so you can like open it up. Maybe I'll show you at some point, but not right now. So you can store stuff in it, like bedding for guests. Once I actually buy a bed, like a proper real bed to put in this bedroom, then this couch will go in the living room, and then hopefully if someday we can, you know, travel again and have guests over, guests can sleep on this. That'll be great. I'm very excited for that, whenever that may happen. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking trying to make this a let's eat breakfast together type of video, because eating and talking at the same time doesn't really work. Oh, it's not bad. I really like the softer bread. What do you like to have for breakfast? This is kind of a childhood staple for me, and I still like it even now. It's not as sweet as eating cereal, which I think is nice. I mean, I love cereal, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of different favorite types. But I also like this, and I like oats, just like plain oats with milk. I don't cook them, nothing, just, you know. Maybe some raisins. So it'll be interesting to see how long this keeps filming, because my old phone had so little storage space on it. Like after taking a few pictures or, goodness forbid, videos, it could be full, and then I had to like offload apps because I didn't have enough space for all of them at the same time. Even when I like transferred all my photos and videos to my computer to make space, it's still just the system itself, you know, since it keeps updating, it keeps getting bigger, and so in the end, like most of the space was taken up just by like the operating system on the phone. So I had to like take turns with which messaging apps I could have on there at the same time, which, needless to say, was very frustrating for my friends. It's weird how like some of my friend groups will prefer one app over another, and so you kind of have to have everything. It's like, ugh. So, as I mentioned before, I lived with my parents for since the end of February, roughly, after I moved here from Japan. And so they have 2 cats that are so adorable. They're very different, like in terms of looks, but also personality, I think. Maybe one is, they're both male cats, but one of them is really big and like, I don't know, kind of imposing, and he claims the couch for himself, that type of thing, you know? And then his little brother, for some reason, I think he is actually younger, like they weren't from the same litter, just from the same mother or something. So the other cat is much smaller, but not just because he's younger. That's the weird thing. Like he's grown, he's a fully grown cat, but he still looks very kitten-like, you know? He's very slender and small, and he's just so cute. They're both very cute. And he's just a lot more lively, I guess. Like he's always running around. Well, not really running, but like it seems like he's never really, sometimes sure, but like most of the time he's not really standing still. He's just kind of like going from one place to the next and like rubbing himself against your legs and then somebody else's, you know, like any person that's in the room will like make his rounds and like get pets from everybody. He's so cute. But he tends to, they both go outside. They're indoor cats that go outside a lot as well. So they have like a cat door and they can go by themselves. I have no idea how well you can hear me from over there, by the way. At some point I might need to get like a pin mic or something, because I have no idea. Maybe I won't be able to use this footage at all, but you know, it was worth a try. Sorry, got distracted. So they go outside regularly. In fact, my parents told me they rarely even use their litter box because they just go outside. But the smaller one, Charlie, he likes to stay away. Recently, like he didn't do this in the beginning, but over the past few months, he's been staying out for several days at a time. Like at one point, I think we didn't see him for like 10 days or something. That was the longest, and that was really scary. We were all really worried, and like my stepdad composed like a missing cat report kind of thing. Apparently there's like some online database that you can put it into. And the next day, also posters, right? He was gonna hang posters up in the neighborhood and stuff. So my mom and her friend and I were on a walk one day. I think one day after my stepdad actually reported him missing. And we just found him by chance, like pretty far from the house. Like we walked for a good, I don't know, 20 minutes at least, just like strolling around the countryside over there. And we came past this like horse stable, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that Charlie over there? And by this point we had seen so many cats around where like each time we're like, oh my god, is that him? Is he coming home finally? And it never is. So so my mom was kind of like, sure, right? Every cat looks like Charlie when you're looking for him, right? But so we weren't like specifically looking for him at that time. We were just on a walk, like on a nice springtime afternoon walk, which at some point I'll have to take you on a walk over here as well. The last video I posted was me taking a walk in Japan before I left, like the big park in my old neighborhood. but especially, yeah, as a sort of like nostalgic callback, but also for comparison's sake, I think it would be really nice if I repeated the same idea, but here in the countryside. It's so beautiful here. Oh my gosh. The view, even just from my patio, is amazing. I'll have to show you. Sorry, I got distracted again. So we actually wound up finding Charlie because this time it actually was him. He was just there, like in some random people's yard, just like rolling around on the ground. You're like, Charlie, what are you doing here? Like this far away from home. I mean, I guess cats do roam pretty far if you let them. I don't know. So we took him home, and then he stayed home for several weeks. Like he would go out during the day, but he never like left for more than a few hours at a time after that. But now he hasn't come home again for maybe 3 or 4 days. So starting to get worried again. But if he doesn't turn up soon, then I'm sure my stepdad will go. First of all, check the horse stable again, and maybe talk to the owners and ask if they've seen him. So yeah, that's my cat stories for today. It was so nice living with cats again. Oh my gosh. It's been a very long time, many years since I've had the privilege of sharing my home with a cat. And so obviously living with my parents was really nice as well. We got to have a lot of family time and eat lots of delicious food and watch TV together at night and, you know, sit on the couch with the cats, and it was great. But yeah, especially having the 2 cats around as well was just very heavenly. So yeah, I found my own apartment a lot quicker than I thought I would. Like my application for residency hasn't even technically gone through yet, but with a little help from my parents and for the paperwork and stuff, I got this place, and I'm so happy about it, and it's really great. And once I'm a little more settled in, I'll certainly show you around at some point. Sorry, there's cat hair on this because I'm borrowing it from my mom. So, you know, in their house these days, everything has cat fur all over it, especially now in springtime. Oh. So far it's been a pretty good transition from life in Japan to life in Switzerland, which is not my home country. I'm from, well, okay, let's start at the beginning. I was born in Romania. However, I grew up in Germany. So I was considering moving back there, obviously, because that's easy for me as a German citizen. But, you know, I really do like Switzerland. I stayed here for a year while I was in college, like my last year in college, when I didn't really have classes anymore, just like, I just had to complete my bachelor thesis. And I was staying with my parents in a different town. They didn't live here yet, but yeah, it was nice. And also, I feel like the older I get, it's kind of nice to be close to family, like, you know, geographically. And so it was kind of between going to live near where my brother lives in Germany, which is in kind of a big city, or yeah, trying to find a place to live near my parents. So I chose the latter, and we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm really loving it here, but I'm very aware that ever since I arrived here at the end of February, it's been kind of utopia, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't had to work because I'm applying to university right now, and while I'm still in that process, and I'm gonna have to take tests, kind of. Well, there's like a 2-part assessment, and part of it was a written exam that I already took. When was it? Last week, I think. And then if I passed, then I will be invited to, is it still recording? Oh, okay, good. If I pass the written part, then they will invite me to an interview, like an individual interview. The other one was like in a group. It was all on Zoom, but we were kind of a ton of people split up into smaller subgroups of like 24 people each, so still pretty big groups, doing the test all at the same time. And it was like partly online stuff where you had to like pick from multiple choice questions, options, whatever, but also there's like a handwritten part as well, where you had to answer questions about a text that we read by hand, and then scan it or take a picture and send it in within 10 minutes, you know, that kind of stuff. But it was fun. It was actually kind of fun to be challenged in that way again. It was all like tasks that were testing your cognitive abilities, I guess. And I haven't really had any mental challenge of that type since way back when I first studied at university. So I don't know, it was refreshing. I enjoyed it, strangely. I know it's a little weird maybe to say that you enjoyed an exam, but I didn't. So yeah, and then the second part will be more about assessing me as an applicant, as a person. I'll have to fill out a questionnaire about like my character, and you know, I think they want to make sure that you are able to withstand the stress and pressures of a psychology degree, because you know, the FAQ said that it's going to be stuff like asking about my resilience and about my ability to cope with stress, and yeah, and then after I fill in the questionnaire, I've been speaking a lot more German now, so my accent in English might be a little off, but hopefully you can understand me. And I do really hope I'm not speaking way too quietly. It's possible, but I don't want to be yelling in this almost empty room. Yeah, so I fill in the questionnaire, and then I'll be on Zoom with, I don't know how many people, but like several people from the psychology department. and I think like licensed psychologists as well, who will ask me questions about it, and I'll have to advocate on my behalf, I guess. We'll see. So anyway, while all of that is still going on, and I don't know exactly when my interview will be and all of that, I'm just, you know, I'm on, what was this word that a friend of mine used once? Fun employment. That's what I'm on right now. Fun employment, no benefits though, because I didn't apply for benefits in Japan because I knew I was leaving soon and it didn't seem fair. And then here I don't have any right to any like government benefits or anything. So, but that's fine. I have some savings, thankfully, because if you didn't know, I'm a very frugal person that likes to save money and not buy a lot of things. So over the years, been able to put away a little bit of a nest egg, I guess, that I'm living on now. Oh, and then of course I'm very, very grateful to my parents who've been very, very supportive for these past couple months. And you know, living with them, it was just amazing. I offered to pay rent because I think it would be absolutely appropriate for me to too. I mean, I'm in my 30s, moving back home, I can for sure pay my parents some rent, you know, and especially since they would always go grocery shopping and all of that. So I tried to get them to accept some money from me for that, but I think they're just really happy to have someone to spoil now with the current situation with the pandemic and everything. It's not like my brother can even come visit, even though he's just across the border. Like, it's not far at all. He could be here in like 1 to 2 hours, probably more like 2-ish hours by train or car or whatever. But it's very difficult right now because the border is not entirely closed, but there's a lot of requirements for moving between the countries that you have to fulfill, and it's not as easy as just jumping on a train, you know. So yeah, my mom said she hasn't seen my brother at all since last summer. Sorry, I heard a noise. Anyway, yeah, so now I'm here, and now they have someone to spoil, I guess. So it's been really nice, but again, I'm aware that for the past month and a half, it was very much a special situation where I got to be around people all the time and around cats. And so I didn't really have time to just, I guess, grieve. Like, I feel like there's probably some grief that's still bound to happen at some point about the fact that I left my home for 8 years, you know. I guess home off 8 years is how you would say it. I don't know. But yeah, I lived in Japan for 8 years. From 2013 until this February. So you know, it was a big step, and I haven't really had time to let that sink in, really. I mean, I guess before I left, there was some processing that was already happening, and I think you may have been able to see that in my videos as well, but so far, I feel happy and fine and not too melancholy about it, but we'll see. Maybe once all of the excitement about the new apartment and everything wears off. Okay, I'm almost done. And if you ate breakfast alongside me, then as long as you're not as slow of an eater as me, you're probably done as well. It's pretty yummy. And I feel like probably pretty healthy as well. It's good. Okay. So, I do have a bunch of boxes still to unpack, especially in the kitchen. So I think I'll go ahead and do that and then watch back the video and see if it's usable at all. And if it's mostly acceptable quality, then I'll be eating breakfast with you very soon. Hope it works out. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, I have no idea if there's anybody who actually watches them, like all of them. I mean, that would be surprising, but nice. Then I hope it was good to get a little update and know what's going on. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!